As President Donald Trump marked his first 100 days in office this week, there were new signs that the economy could be slowing, with fast food giant McDonald's reporting its worst quarterly sales in the U.S. since the height of the pandemic in 2020. And the Commerce Department reporting that gross domestic product shrank 0.3% in the first quarter amid a sharp increase in imports as businesses rushed to get ahead of the Trump tariffs. The president on Wednesday blamed Joe Biden for the contracting economy.
You probably saw some numbers today, and I have to start off by saying that's Biden, that's not Trump, because we came in on January, this is the quarterly numbers, and we came in and I was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy. We came in on January 20th, so this is Biden. And you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis. But we're turning it around. It's a big ship to turn around.
Let's bring in Wall Street Journal columnists Mary Anastasia O'Grady and Kim Strassel. So, Mary, conflicting signs this week. The GDP report contraction in the first quarter, but the April jobs market looked reasonably strong.
Well, it came in better than expected, but the 2 months before that were revised downward. So, you know, I'd say the job market is not as healthy as it used to be, but it's still okay. I mean, it's very hard to say right now where the economy is, but I think one thing is absolutely certain, and that is that tariffs had an effect on this GDP number. And the reason is because when you calculate the GDP, you add up all the stuff that we do in this country, and then you subtract out imports. And the import number was so big that brought the GDP number down. And the reason the number was so big was that people were accelerating their purchases to get ahead of the tariffs.
What does that tell you about the second and third quarter?
Well, it's hard to say. But, you know, the expectation of the market is that the tariffs are going to have a negative impact because they are a tax.
Right.
And they're going to it's going to mean that what you bring into the country is going to cost more. And, you know, when you look at McDonald's and Wendy's and home builders are not having a good spring season, Apple says that the cost of the tariffs could, in the second quarter, could be about $900 million.
$900 million, wow.
Yeah, and so, you know, the expectation on the part of the market, not just companies but consumers, is that this is going to be painful and we're going to tighten our belts and sort of go into hibernation until we figure out what's going on. It's more like hibernation day. It's not liberation day.
Kim, that impact of tariffs, I mean, you heard the president say, look, this is Joe Biden. Even in the second quarter, it's Joe Biden. But the economy did come in with at least some momentum from last year, and the tariffs are having, no question, a big impact. Is inside the White House, inside the Treasury, do they really understand that the tariffs are doing some damage?
They're in a bit of a quandary at the moment, Paul. I think all signs are that they do know that there's a problem, and you can see it from their public statements and some of the moves that Trump has made. Obviously, we had the pause on reciprocal tariffs, a blink, as it were. He walked back from that. We've had a string of exemptions that are being laid out for certain industries that have said, look, this is just going to kill us. Most recently, there were the auto exemptions, but those had followed ones that were put out there for phones, computers, semiconductors. We're also getting, you know, this constant string of promises from the White House. The deals are close. We're circling in, dribbling out a little bit of details. They understand the market is very uncertain, that they have, when you go from a 2% average border tax, Paul, to a 20% tax, that's a shock to the system. But what are they going to do? I think they're looking for an off-ramp, but it's not an easy thing to extricate oneself from.
Yeah, the off-ramp, as it were, seems to be at least a big part of it, these deals, right? 18, 20 countries that they're trying to get new trade deals with immediately. And I think they're saying that one in particular might be soon. But the question is, these things are hard. I mean, usually they take months or years to negotiate with countries. Are we really going to see this kind of quick deal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That will be consequential as opposed to superficial.
Well, you know, the president talks about our trading partners as if they don't have any domestic issues that they have to deal with at home, protected industries and so forth. But they do. And that's why trade deals take literally years to complete. He's meeting with Mark Carney next week, the new Prime Minister of Canada. But he'll be going over the same ground that we've been discussing with Canada for 30 years. I mean, the dairy protections, the banking system, the actual capacity of this administration to do a slap-dab job of some kind of a new trade deal with, say, India, which is very protectionist. I think there are low probability of that happening. Maybe he can present some kind of a fact sheet where he says, you know, they're gonna give a few crumbs to his claim that he's opening markets, but I don't see anything substantial.
And there was a vote this week in Congress, Kim, where the Democrats forced a vote in the Senate saying they wanted to put a stop to the Trump tariffs, and you know, most Republicans voted to go along with the president. So now Senate Republicans have put their own political stamp on the tariffs, right?
Their stamp is on this, which is why you also see them rushing, Paul, to try to do a counterweight to this with their reconciliation bill.
All right. Thanks, Kim.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.